The UFC 306 press conference was alright. Because of a certain man, yeah, it was actually quite entertaining. We'll get to that man soon, but overall, it was alright. Gone are the days of Conor McGregor taking over the presser, Bisping and Rockhold talking about killing each other after after a fight at the press conference. This one was alright. You know, the setting was lovely. It was right in front of the sphere. Yeah, it was cold. O'Malley came in with that red jacket, the one that Merab stole. So there was nice continuation there. Let's talk about Rodriguez and Osborne. Yeah, Osborne came in on smoke, saying he's gonna KO Rodriguez and whatnot, and then Rodriguez just turned it into his press conference. There was a funny part where it looked like as though Hugo was translating the question, and then the translator interrupted, and he basically said, "Hey, this is how I'm making my money, fella. Yeah, so let me stick to the translating." And he translated after Zokubo already translated. Yeah, Rodriguez wasn't even speaking English, yet he won the dispute and the press conference. Yeah, he wasn't even speaking English. I did Spanish in school. Yeah, I got a 5B, but I still did not understand a single word that he was saying. I was just waiting for the crowd's reaction to what he said. But yeah, Rodriguez, man. I mean, even the attire. He came in with the world's biggest hat. Yeah, the circumference on that hat was crazy. Um, when it literally matched his outburst perfectly. That outfit, the floral shirt, the toilet seat hat. It was class, man. Even the translator, he translated with the same energy. He turned into Hulk Hogan when he said, "Oh, I'm gonna break your face." It was class. He started ripping up his t-shirt, showing that he had six pack chiseled by Zeus himself. Yeah, man, it was crazy. Rodriguez is definitely the star of that show. And do you know what it is? Look, Kobe Covington is probably the perfect example, right? Um, of fighters taking an opportunity, not just inside the cage to make a name for themselves, but outside the cage, right? So these press conferences and whatnot, they matter. Because now, look, Ronaldo Rodriguez, I guarantee you a lot more people are going to be looking forward to seeing his fight against Ode Osborne. I definitely am now. And I wasn't as much before, but I'm now invested because Rodriguez has got me invested. Um, yeah, I stopped listening to Osborne at that point, and I was just listening to the crowd reaction every time Rodriguez said anything. um, we moved on to Ortega versus Lopez. After that little dispute, and it was this is one of the fights that you know talks for itself. They didn't need to go crazy at the press conferences. At the press conference, they gave each other a lot of respect. Lopez has been on fire recently. Ortega's one of the top guys in the featherweight division. He's only lost to Holloway, Volk, and I believe Yair, but I think he got his get back against Yair, and he's got a brick chin. You'd think Lopez wouldn't be able to knock him out. So this fight is probably gonna be a 3-round war. They didn't need to do much talking, these two. And then after these two, it was just back to the usual. For the rest of the fighters, I'm so excited to be here. Such a huge event for us Mexicans. Viva Mexico. Fair enough. There were two awkward moments though. Pay the Mexicans. Brian Ortega. Dana White has already said, look, he's not gonna up the bonuses anymore, right? Because for some reason it just doesn't incentivize the fighters enough to go for the finish. I'm guessing the fighters didn't get that memo because Brian Ortega started shouting into the mic, "Pay the Mexicans." There was an old Dana chant. And then Dana was just like, next question. So he just completely bypassed that. Which fair enough, He's sticking to his guns. The other awkward thing was where's he gone? This fella, Joshua Van. This poor geezer wasn't asked a single question. Yeah, everyone else was asked, "Oh, what do you think about being on this event? You know, how does it feel? You know, does it make you emotional?" Those generic questions. He didn't even get there. Yeah. What if he wanted to give his answer as well? You know, oh, such a great event. Oh, what if I start thanking the UFC? Like Merab started doing for a good 5 or 10 minutes. Just sat down and then stood up and then left. He didn't get to answer a single question. But yeah, after that we had a good little exchange between, you know, O'Malley and Merab, where Merab told O'Malley that he didn't KO Cheetah, and O'Malley came back with a good response. He said, "Look, but I KO'd Aljo, didn't I?" And Merab said, "Oh, you got lucky. A stinker. That was not luck, Merab Davalishvili. Yeah, that was pure skill, mate." And then he said, "Oh, come try that against me or something." And I was like, "Oh, Merab, you stinker," because I would not be surprised if the exact same thing happened, man. You know, I think it's a bad fight for Merab, man, and I really do think it's gonna end early, the first 2 rounds. He's been cracked by Cejudo, he's been cracked by Moraes. O'Malley doesn't have to land that same shot, but he just has to land one big shot, and I think it's over for Merab. So I was listening to the pound for pound podcast earlier, and Cejudo really thinks Merab's gonna win. He just says you have to put your hands up, which is absolutely mental. I think it's pure bias there, right? Because he fought Merab, they respect each other, and O'Malley went into their podcast and he trolled him, didn't he? Said to Cejudo, what was it? How did Aljo take you down so quickly or something? And then just shut off and left the pod. But yeah, man. But the kind of just looking through the rest of the fights, trying to remember if anything else significant was really said, and I don't think so. You know, it was it's a pretty normal press conference by the UFC standard nowadays. But Ronaldo Rodriguez definitely stole the show, and there are going to be eyes on this fight solely because of the press conference. And I hope more fighters kind of take notes, you know. The way it is now in this sport, you got to build your brand, you know, on the mic as well as inside the octagon. You know, not all guys can build their brand solely from what they do in the cage. You know, you got to build yourself up outside the cage too. Just like I mentioned, Kobe Covington, perfect example. You know, boring, yeah, in the cage, but the guy talks the talk, and he said he saved his career, you know, just by talking. I mean, the electricity bill must be mad for the Sphere, innit? Crazy. When they were doing the face-offs, like they had the fighters pop up onto the Sphere screen as well for each fight. It's mental. I heard Chael Sonnen say the other day. Apparently, Chael Sonnen is not a great source, let's be honest, but I mean, he said the other day just to practice the run through of the entire show, that's $2 million alone. I mean, that is mental. Crazy money. But yeah, I mean, that was all for the press conference. Did it kind of make me look forward to the fights even more? Bar Ronaldo Rodriguez and Ode Osborne, no one else really. Yeah, it was alright, and looking forward to the fights tomorrow. Let's see what happens.